Welcome back, gang. I promised I'd come on and talk about how I got into appliance repair. So here it is, as promised. I just kind of wrote a few notes here to make sure I stay on track and I don't make another hour-long video. But to tell you how I got into it, the story kind of starts in the beginning. I grew up very poor in North Georgia, um, way up in the mountains, and the people there, being 50 years behind everyone else, or so it felt to me. uh, and being from a very poor area, they valued money way more than time. And so I was taught very early, you fix what's broken. You go to the junkyard and you pull the parts that you need for your car or for your equipment, and you spend the time taking it off the old machine and put it on the new one or the new car. That was the mindset that I grew up in. So I was taught to be fairly mechanical at a young age. Everyone who had something going on, my grandfathers would have me out working for them or my uncles with my cousins. The kids were always working on something for the most part. We weren't actually allowed to be in front of the TV. That was very limited. Turns out I learned a lot of good life lessons from it. Well, being naturally mechanical, when I was a child, I took apart my cars and my remote cars and my toys and put them all back together in different ways. Uh, that the reason why I'm telling you about my natural mechanical inclination is because it plays a part later in the story. As a matter of fact, the very first appliance that I fixed when I was a teenager, I used to hang out with a friend at McDonald's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And back then, McDonald's had washing machines and dryers in their stores. And my buddy worked at that McDonald's, and we got along great with the young manager. She had an issue with her washing machine not draining. Me, being fairly mechanical, just spoke up and said it's probably the drain pump. I knew it had a drain pump after all. It turned out to be the drain pump. She was able to get it fixed very quickly. So she asked me if I would like to work there, and she made me a maintenance man for McDonald's and sent me to go take some classes. That's actually where I would meet my best friend. Uh, he gave me a ride to those classes. I didn't even have a car back then. We're still friends and brothers to this day and hang out a lot. Shout out Jacob Core. But I would really never work on appliances again for McDonald's after that. It was really mostly just grease and freezer work. Maintenance man sounds good, but that job kind of sucked, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't work on another appliance again for a long time. I would, however, not work at that McDonald's anymore about a year after that. And my whole life I was working in construction with uncles and all. And I would actually spend a lot of summers working with my best friend's uncle, building pool houses, all kinds of various construction projects. And I found myself getting into the RTO world, which is kind of what I wrote about in the forum where we were all discussing how we got into the appliance repair. Here in Louisiana, you guys might be familiar with a company called Aaron's. They rent to own appliances and furniture and TVs and speakers. Well, I got very accustomed to installing and removing appliances over the years of working at a company that's owned by Aaron's. At least at the time, I think they all shut down nationwide. It was called HomeSmart. Well, I spent a lot of time with appliances when I was working for HomeSmart, installing them, cleaning them, doing maintenance on them, and repoing them. Sometimes I did work in collections uh, for a very long time there. And I also did the exact same job for another company that's nationwide called Affordable. It's another rent-to-own company. Personally, I wouldn't recommend either one of them. I did work for Affordable for a long time doing the exact same thing, still working collections. Lots of appliances, including refrigerators, washing machines, and dryers were the three big movers. Now, I would go on to leave that job as well and still be in the rent-to-own industry with the exact same job working for a rim shop. There, the turnover was so high that I became the only person in the store who knew how to do things. The manager at the time, I actually am still very good friends with him. The guy who hired me taught me the different facets of the business. As people left, he left. Everyone eventually would come and go multiple times, and I would still be there. I was running that entire business by myself. And that played a huge role in what I do today because I was able to learn about all the day-to-day operations, sales, marketing. That's where I learned about P&L and KPIs, your key points. I did that for a long time, running that business completely by myself, weeks at a time. Everyone would leave and I'd be there again by myself. Eventually, I got tired of running this business for $14 an hour. And they treated employees bad, which is why everyone would leave so often. I started looking for a new job and I found one building fire trucks, another very mechanical job. I was building fire trucks and trying to do this rim shop thing. It didn't work. So I quit the rim shop to just build fire trucks and I was delivering pizzas at night. My daughter had just been born. Well, one day they told me I can't deliver pizzas at night anymore, that they're going to start doing mandatory overtime at the place where I'm building fire trucks at. So I quit delivering the pizzas and went there full time. And I remember getting my first big overtime check of $725. And me and my wife were absolutely excited. I went and bought me a brand new pair of boots, all kinds of stuff. That was the most money I had ever made in 1 week, $725. And at the time, with our new child, we thought we were highfalutin. We thought we had something there. Well, that company had some major contracts and had just gotten purchased by another company, and I ended up getting laid off some some months after they made me quit the other job so that I could work exclusively there. I heard they went on to lay off a lot of people. So having a new child at home, and now I'm jobless in the middle of the day, I immediately hit the ground trying to find a new job. However, despite being married and I was part of the men's ministry team at the church we were going to, I had a criminal issue on my record, which back then I was still too close to that. So I found it hard to find good work. I had actually been promised a great job working with internet communications. The manager wanted to hire me. I had the job, and HR actually kicked me back because it had not been enough years since a legal issue when I was 18 years old. Naturally, I waited till I was 18 to get myself in a legal mess, which has been since long resolved. However, it kept me from getting a couple of jobs, including that one. And I was already devastated enough having lost my job, and that was just setting a fire to a barrel of gas. I felt embarrassed and angry and sad, and I tried calling them and making my case, but there was nothing I could do about it. It was a big internet company, too. Out of necessity, I started a handyman business. I had spent many years of my life in construction, trim carpentry. We did a number of things. So I had tools. At the time, I was driving a very nice Volvo, and I would just throw my buckets of tools and my saws in the trunk and on the back seat, my leather seats. And I went to work. And I was actually making some good money doing that too. My handyman business was very successful. I quickly found that I had plenty of work to do. Also, quickly found that I was underpriced. I maxed out when I stopped doing handyman work full time. I had made my way up to 17.35 was what I charged an hour to do handyman work. That's an underpaid handyman. But I thought I was making really good money, and since there wasn't any taxes coming off of it, it was even better. I got picked up by this contractor uh, who wanted me to come install appliances for Best Buy, which I did. Started off at 2 days a week, went to 4 days a week. We were installing lots of high-end appliances I'd never even seen before. This wasn't the normal stuff that you see at affordable and Aaron's type places. These were all high-end luxury items, Viking stoves, things like that. And I would read the papers that come with them in detail, the whole book. One thing I quickly found was most of our customers' appliances were installed wrong. Well, I kind of had the assumption that this thing's not draining, the drain pump's bad because it was installed wrong. That was an incorrect assumption, but I thought one of the big reasons appliances break, most of them anyway that I was seeing, the exact thing that was wrong with it was the exact part of it that was installed wrong. So I had put two and two together and had this assumption, well, the drain pump's not working because you actually didn't have this drain line hooked up correctly. That sort of thing. People started calling me because it was an advertised handyman business on Facebook and within the Facebook groups. People started calling me, want to know if I'd come work for them. And guys, I just got lucky. This appliance thing just landed in my lap one day. And I said yes to the people who called me, and I would go on YouTube and watch every available video on that appliance. I would search the internet and learn everything I could. I went out, I fixed it, and then I did it again just like that. If you called me about a dryer, a Samsung dryer, for example, I watched every single video on YouTube and read every single forum on the internet that I could find about that dryer. Went out and fixed them. I got lucky because I was just getting washing machines and dryers that were on YouTube at first, and a whole bunch of them too. That went on for a little while. Eventually, the phone only rang for appliance repair, and I was making some good money. I didn't even know what to charge. I just said $100 on to pretty much everything. Well, I was making so much money. I was hanging out with other business owners. I decided I would just try to find out how hard it would be for me to actually have an appliance business. And then I learned about how low the bar actually is to get into the trades, especially appliance repair. In fact, some of my buddies who were in electrical, HVAC, and contracting were actually pointing out the fact that there's absolutely in my state nothing stopping you from opening up an appliance repair business. They don't ask you if you have any knowledge on the subject or anything. You just go fill out the paperwork and you got an appliance business. Well, problem is we got a lot of really bad appliance guys around here. That's what that led to. The bigger the radius, the more of a crapshoot it is whether or not you're going to get a good appliance guy. I suppose it's the same for HVAC and everything, but even an HVAC guy has to prove something, some kind of mechanical license. Appliance doesn't have to prove anything. Well, I started my appliance business and was very lucky for the first year. It continued. Somehow, every call that I got was on YouTube until it wasn't. I would run in. First, it started with refrigerators that I had no idea how to work on, so I simply didn't take refrigeration calls. If you called with a refrigerator, I told you that I didn't know how to work on them, and that was it. Or if you called me out and I ran into something that I don't know how to work on, I'm an honest guy. Hey, I actually don't know how to work on this. Sorry about that. No charge. That's on me. That's not on you. I did that for a long time, and machines were coming out with hidden screws that I did not know how to open up, and they were not on YouTube. And it started happening more and more, and I started noticing I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. And that's when I decided I would go find me a appliance repair school. And that's when I found out there isn't one here in Louisiana. I was willing to spend however much it cost. So I did a ton of research and I landed on the MST, Master Samurai Technician. That's where I landed. Fantastic school. I've since taken multiple courses for appliance repair. That was the first one, and I really liked it too. And it was kind of hard too. It really showed me what I didn't know. It made me very good at diagnosing electronically, which is something that you need. Plus, they have appliantology, which teaches you how to gain access to all the service manuals so that you know how to break things open. The irony is, I went looking for a school so that I could learn how to open these things up and work on them. And that's explicitly not what MST is. Fast forward to today, my appliance repair business is absolutely booming. We are more successful every year than we were the previous year. And it's growing at a rate that I never could have imagined. My handyman business did well. My appliance business is doing extremely well. My production company is doing well. And I've been getting into the information market. That business is going very well for me as well. And today, I'm respected by my colleagues and peers, competitors who like me, competitors who don't like me, all recommend me when they're working on something they don't know how to work on. So I'm in a good place with appliance repair. And I wanted to make this video because one, I said that I would, and I knew that mentioning all of that would be too much to write in the forums. And next week, we're actually certifying another technician. He's been with me for about 6 years, and I do mentor other technicians. If you want to have some sort of mentorship with me, you have to already be a certified tech. You have to already know what you're doing. There's a certain knowledge base business wise. This isn't skill wise. Yes, this isn't a skilled mentorship. I don't tell people how to work on washing machines. This is a business thing. When I mention that, just so you guys know, this is all business. It's very hard to build generational wealth with a service business. So that when I say mentoring, because I'm an appliance technician also, that does come up quite a bit, the actual fixing things, but that's what I'm talking about. I've been more mentoring this guy. He's been directly working with me. Met him as a handyman also, and he's becoming a full-fledged certified technician next weekend. So very proud of you, TJ. You know who you are. And like I said, if you guys ever do hit me up for mentorship, just know that it's not about, I don't want to teach anyone how to work on appliances. I teach the business side of things. So as I move into the marketing B2B world, I know that I'll see more and more of you guys, and I appreciate you watching this video and hearing about how I got into appliance repair. And I hope that you guys can feel confident enough to share your story too. Till next time, gang.